Please welcome Ori Minkoff, co-founder and chief executive officer, Rebecca Minkoff, LLC.
Thank you so much for having me today. Clearly not from the beauty world today. Rebecca and I are in the fashion world. So thank you for allowing me to be here and present today. So one of the things that I wanted to go through is just an introduction of who we are. 10 years ago, Rebecca and I were literally in her apartment. The power was about to be shut off. She couldn't pay the electrical bill. And I had quickly maxed out my credit cards to where my family couldn't afford to eat the next day. And that's how we started our company. Today, we are the largest global brand in fashion with a female millennial designer. And so today I want to tell you a little bit about how we've gotten here and where we see the future going in terms of experiential retail. So first, today's a little bit of an introduction on our brand, and here's a sizzle reel video.
Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Yeah. Girls, we run this mother. Girls, who run the world? 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 Girls, who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run this mother? Who run the world? Girls, who run the world? Girls, who run the world? Girls, who run the world? Who are we? What we run the world. Who run this mother? Who are we? What we run the world. Who run this mother? Who are we? What do we run? We run the world. Who run this mother? Who are we? What we run? We run the world. Who run the world? Girls, girls.
So when we started, we realized that there was a dictatorship within fashion. And we realized that it wasn't, our chance of success would have been small, and the way to do it was to create a peer-to-peer relationship with our customer. We felt that was important, was to break down the dictatorship, to create a democracy, and to create this relationship with our customer where we would be on the same level. And that's really how we grew. So we were really the first to every major social platform in fashion, whether it was Instagram, whether it was Snapchat, whether it was crowdsourcing designs. We basically invited the fashion consumer into the experience, which really started to change things. And today, we see that that's become a normal basis, but back then, it wasn't. So it was all about this dialogue, this peer-to-peer relationship of saying, hey, we're not in this holy place, but we're one of you, we're part of you. We're gonna take your content, we're gonna repurpose it, and we're gonna share in this together. So as we were looking to build our retail stores, we basically were looking out and said, why is the retail store offline completely decoupled from the online experience? There's so many efficiencies you have in the online experience. You can save things in your cart, you can have wish lists, you get recommendations. But these things did not exist in the store. It just was two totally different experiences. And we knew that a millennial consumer wanted one of two things. She either wants to be anonymous, right? She's super educated, she wants to go into the store, she wants to talk to nobody, she's in her own music video, listening to Spotify, and that's one extreme. Or the other extreme, because let's face it, the middle sucks. You don't want to be in the middle with anything. The other extreme is she wants to be a celebrity. She wants to be a VIP. She wants to be catered to. She wants, the moment she walks into that store, she wants you to know what are her colors, what are her sizes, what are her preferences. So how do you cater to those extremes? How do you cater to a new normal where it's all about that photo, right? Her stock in trade is that photo. She's ordering food not that she wants, but what item on the menu is going to look the best for her Instagram feed. We know, truly, these are important things today. We know, or she convinces her friend to order the best thing, and she waits for her friend to go to the bathroom, and she'll snap it as if that was her meal. This is normal behavior. We also know that she has 10 weddings to go to this summer with the same people, and she has to somehow figure out how she's going to get there, how she's going to afford all these experiences and look different in each of them. And so this is our normal way of behaving. This is our stock and trade now. Is your reel, right? It is your Snapchat account. It is these sorts of things. So when we were looking at retail and and what was wrong with it, we realized what was missing was the human element in all of this. We realized that what was missing are those moments where it's those uncomfortable moments that you have, when you walk in and someone's trying to stalk you down, right? What do you want today? Are you here to buy? There are those moments where the designer's not there, but how do you really include the designer to be part of the conversation? There's the moments where you've gone in the fitting room and you have to leave, and do you brave it half naked, or do you have to put your skinny jeans back on? There's the moment that you don't know whether, when you ask for an item, whether it was there or not, whether the salesperson is lazy or lying. There's the idea of having to go stand in front of a cash wrap where you're being judged, right? You're going into this herd of cattle, and people are judging your sizes. They're judging how much you're buying. Are you rich today or poor today, right? How can we take away all of these uncomfortable moments that exist within retail and bring back an experience? So here is a video which goes through our stores of what we built to kind of combat some of these elements that we as humans face, and how could we have a more comfortable experience within the store. So here we go. So this is our store on Green Street in Soho. We have 3 of these, soon to be 4. And so up front we have what looks to be a normal runway video playing, but it's actually interactive. And so the first thing, there's Rebecca, the first thing we'll do is to offer you a drink that you can order for yourself, or there's a lookbook. So even though Rebecca's not there, you can shop through her favorite looks and get oriented into the store of what she thinks is important. And all of a sudden you choose your sizes, your colors, and those will be sent to a fitting room for you. But what creates an amazing experience is you're oriented to what does she think is important on a living, breathing basis. And the first question you're asked is, what would you like to drink? And you can literally order a drink off the menu there. Everything is RFID tagged, so as you walk in the fitting room, the e-commerce imagery is displayed on the mirror of what you've brought in. We all know that lighting is a big issue. So the first thing you'll do is adjust the lighting, because if you're going out at night, it's different than if you're going for a walk here on the beach. So we want you to have the right lighting for the end use of whatever you're looking to shop with. The next thing we have is with the images, we surface recommendations. So every item in there has a choice of 3 recommendations. So here the designer, who's not there, is recommending to you what you should wear with that. Outfit completers. We're adding to the cart. So we know that 40% of people are adding to their basket size based on what they've seen there in the fitting room. When you finish the session, you know who's coming to help check you out. When you want different items to be brought to you, you're literally clicking on the item and the size and the color you want, and that's brought to you. So you're able to stay in the fitting room the whole time. You're able to have things brought to you that you want. And because the biggest problem you have every day isn't what to buy, although for some people it is, and that's great for them, but mostly it's what to wear, right? How do you get confidence? So there's nothing like the designer telling you what you should wear and how to get those outfit completers. So we're actually selling 3 times more apparel in our stores than we had forecasted or based on similar stores because of this recommendation technology, because she's getting confidence there in the fitting room, because she doesn't have to leave, because we save her session and we send it to her phone and she's able to see everything she brought in. Now from a data side on our end, it's amazing because we know what's working, what's not working. We know how many items went into a fitting room, what items yielded conversion, what have fit issues, what have sizing issues, what are people buying on a low level, what are people buying on a high level. So it's been a wonderful experience in terms of that. But we wanted to take it one step further, and so as we built our LA store that we opened this last October, we had a theory. We've all been talking about retail stores as the future of it. Are they showrooms? Are they distribution centers? Yes and yes. But can they be entertainment hubs? Can they be, and what would happen if you created amazing entertainment experiences within the store? What would happen? And so what happened was astounding. So when we opened our LA store, so this is our LA store on Melrose. So the first thing we did is we took this backspace and we said, let's have hip hop yoga classes in the dark. And let's run, each class can have 30 people. Let's run 4 or 5 classes a day. Let's see what happens. So all of a sudden we start getting these great influencers that came in and they're taking yoga classes. And what happened is we were exposed to a new cross-section of person that wouldn't normally come to our store, but our e-com traffic spiked and our e-com numbers started to go off the charts. And we said, wow, this is really interesting. Became a new theory for us. If you create entertainment in the store, you obviously have the people that are in the store, but it's that extended peer-to-peer network of what goes on out there that creates the FOMO, right? The fear of missing out, the wanting to be there. There's something happening that I'm not part of, right? Which all of a sudden creates this external surge of traffic on a social area and an e-com area, which yielded higher conversion. So we said, okay, let's actually partner with someone in the beauty space. So what we decided to do was to partner during our opening with Smashbox, and we had Donald Robertson, the creative director, come out, and we had this amazing experience that we did. So we, of course, had a bunch of vloggers and bloggers and consumers, and we allowed Donald to take our product into custom paint on it. We allowed women to come in and custom make lipstick colors. We had a photo studio in the back room where we had a bunch of his art, but we had a fan, and everyone's hair was going crazy, and one of the co-founders of Smashbox was there taking their photos. So all of a sudden, we created this experience of photo studio, customizing your lipstick, letting your accessories, your bags be painted on. So what happened here, and these are some examples of this experience that we created. What happened is we had 19 million impressions that night just on Instagram alone over a 24-hour period, all relating to this event. What happened there? Again, our web traffic spiked, and again, our conversion spiked. So all of a sudden, this became a new thesis, a new theory for us of what you can do in the store with influencers, how you can actually join a fashion brand with a beauty brand to create a unique experience that's part of both of them becomes really impactful because you're bringing the power of both worlds. It's our fashion bloggers with the beauty vloggers with consumer and this extended reach that just multiplies and multiplies that brings in a localized audience, but also this extended audience out there that yields to a conversion in retail starting from the top of funnel. And so this has become a great success point for us. So now as we move forward, we decided that we weren't just disrupting the store. We needed to disrupt Fashion Week because we felt that it was old, it was tired, it didn't make sense that you would show 3 seasons before the first season was ever in retail. We felt that fast fashion could create knockoffs because you're showing 6 months out. There's consumer fatigue, right? All these sorts of problems. So for this spring, we went to Women's Wear and we said we had this idea. And we again have a theory of what's wrong. We should show in season. People should never have seen the product before. And we should really create this a full price offering, and the consumer should get really excited. And we should in February we should show spring, and in September we should show fall, and the consumer should have never seen it before. And you know what? She should actually come to the show. So a third of the people coming there should actually be consumer. And we should create this fashion show as entertainment for the consumer. And so what happened there when we did this is we had a 200% increase in sales in the 2 weeks following the show at retail than we did the previous year. Consumer was seeing something for the first time. We were messaging it. A cross-section of people were able to come. And all of a sudden, it created this surge, this need to buy full-price retail. So, and now what we have is Tom Ford, Tommy Hilfiger, Burberry, et cetera, are similarly following suit. It's become a very controversial item because, of course, the French Fashion Council decides that this is the worst thing ever, that we're the devils. But here in America, we think it works for the customer, and that's the next thing we did. So what we wanted to do is we feel like our brand is there to provide a commentary on the near future of millennials. Where is this all going? We think this is super, super important. Where's the world going? And for us, technology and fashion, technology and beauty are becoming increasingly connected. It's really important. You can't decouple these things anymore. So one of our theories is that we've seen the power of drones, and we said, let's have a drone film our runway show. It called up Intel and said, bring one of your drones over and let's film our runway show and let's let the consumer be part of that. Why? Because we see a future where we all have drones as wearables, and we're not too far off from that. We're going to have drones that are going to be on our wrists that we're going to cast off, and I've seen prototypes of these. I've judged competitions where they're there. You're going to cast it off. So instead of you missing out on a moment where your child is taking their first steps and you're there with the photo, why not have the drone be there to capture it and then kind of phone home and come back to your wrist? And so all of a sudden we start getting experience working with huge technology companies because we see ourselves as being the bridge between Silicon Valley and the fashion world. But we're getting this early read into where these things are going. And so there we filmed our runway show working with Intel on one of these drones. So let's talk for a second about VR. because we were also the first brand to film our fashion show in VR, and people were like, "Oh, you're just doing that. That's tech for tech's sake. You guys are. That's just what you're doing." We said, "No, this is really important. This is where this world is going." So what did we do? We're able to give our customer a 360-degree view, spatially, visually, from an audio perspective of being in that show. It's about having a better than a front row seat. It's about you being able to be there and literally look around everywhere and see all angles and hear it from all angles and to be immersive in that. Why? Where's this going? Well, our theory of where retail is going is that augmented reality, virtual reality are the keys of where we're going. So this is going to be the experience a couple of years from now. You're going to be in your apartment. So there's a solo experience, and as I said, there's a rise of this peer-to-peer. So the solo experience is you're in your apartment, you're in your house, you feel like you want to go shopping that day, but you actually don't want to leave the house. So this will replace the laptop. You're going to put on your goggles, you're going to put on your glasses, and you're going to feel like you're in, it could be the Rebecca Minkoff store, it could be the Bergdorf Goodman store, it could be a beauty store. You're going to be virtually shopping and feel like you're immersed in that world in the confines of your home. And you're going to be walking through as if you're picking up things, trying them on. That's going to become that near-term experience. But the thing that people are missing is, where does this go in a peer-to-peer perspective? And this is where it gets really phenomenal. So an experience we're going to have probably 2 years from now is right now it's the, let's say it's the opera. Let's say it's a concert. Let's say it's a basketball game. Imagine the world where, again, you're in your home and you and your friend, right? So video games have been very peer-to-peer for a while, right? I could play you somewhere and we're not even together. But we're going to be able to have shared experiences as peers. I'm going to be able to go watch a basketball game or go to the opera or go to a Broadway show and feel like I have a better than front row experience, and I'm going to be doing it with you. We're going to be sharing this peer-to-peer basis. So when you look at the future of retail or experiential, it's you're getting ready to go to a prom, you're getting ready to go to a party, okay? And you're inviting your friends in to have dialogue about how you look, right? You're having a vlogger or a blogger who's there, who's giving tutorials or sessions, but it's live, and you're there with your friends. So it really becomes this social shared experience where you're not physically together, but you're in this virtual space all together, being given a tutorial, showing how something can be done, and these sorts of things. So please really watch where this VR space is going from a shopping perspective, but also from a peer-to-peer relationship perspective of including people into your world where you're not physically together. And the last thing I'll show you is this kind of our give back and how we ensure a lot of the tech tools, pretty much all the tech tools that have been created, that exist, that we're using today, have been created by men, mostly Caucasian men. And so what we're doing is we partnered with Intel on a $300 million initiative of theirs, where Rebecca is really reaching out to really encourage women that have STEM, science, technology, engineering, math attributes, right, that are leaving careers of going where their mental capabilities naturally are into other careers because they don't want to be a programmer. And so it's highlighting the fact that you can have a career in the arts, you can have a career in fashion or beauty with having a STEM mind or attributes, and that you can actually get more women as creators of technical tools, more women that are end users as creators of technology that we can all use every day. So that's a part of what we're doing now, and she's going around the country to college campuses, really encouraging women to continue down this path so that they can actually create technological tools that will advance all of what we're doing every day. So thank you for having me. It's a little bit of a talk of how we got here, how we see retail today, and kind of what we see things going forward in the future. So thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Oh, right here in the front.
Yes.
Hey, so I've got some questions from the audience that came in through the iPads. How will Rebecca Minkoff do beauty differently from everyone else?
So it's a great question. You know, we're launching timepieces, watches later this year with one of the great U.S. companies. We'll announce it shortly, which we're again approaching it in a very disruptive way. So. You know, I think we haven't entered the beauty space, although Rebecca is the global color director right now for Essie. and we kind of wanted to let that sit for about a year and a half. But I think as a brand, our size, our scope now, we're at a place where we're just starting to have conversation about that. But as we look towards watches, as we look towards other categories we're doing, look, I'm a big fan of this idea of mass customization, right? And peer-to-peer relationships, as you can see. So, it'll be working with a partner that will want to take that approach in mind and look to disrupt. So, again, we haven't chosen a partner as yet, but I think it'll be a partner that wants disruption in mind, that wants to look at the world a bit differently, because that's just part of who we are.
Right. Great. And then it seems as every fashion and beauty company is obsessed with millennials. Is there a chance this obsession works to alienate other consumer groups?
I mean, I guess it's possible. I do think so. So you can look at millennials from purely an age perspective. You can also look at it from a psychographic perspective. And so, whether you're 14 to 17 in Gen Z, or whether you're 45 years old, or whether you're 60 years old, I think it's really the mental attributes that shape things. So I think, again, we don't have to be so specific. I think on one hand, you have people that are above and below that age demographic that spirit appeals to. But I think you have to look at it from two perspectives. One is the marketing of that on that basis to that psychographic, but also it's also the nature of what goes into the product. I know there was an NPD report that was released yesterday on millennials and the buying of handbags, and it really came to that they treat it almost like an auto purchase, right? And they spend a month thinking about it. What was interesting there is it wasn't really about the brand, it was about the features, it was about what was the uniqueness of it. And so I think we are in this world where if your product has the right price-value ratio, if your product has the right features that befit a current lifestyle that's filled with tech needs, and really understanding how she's going from day to night, then I don't think the age matters so much as it is that plus the psychographic nature.
Great. Any questions directly from the floor?
Yes. Off the top of your head, do you have any ideas on how to make a makeup store more appealing?
Absolutely. Look, I obviously, the beauty world. There are a lot of great brands that are very progressive within what they're offering in store. We know that vlogs, we know tutorials, we know that this visual content is exploding, and so I think what we've done digitally was very innovative in fashion. I think when you start looking at the beauty element, you can just take that and put that on steroids and just go to all sorts of great places as you're looking to mix. What is she in beauty, and how do you use digital enhancements to look at that, but also how does that go with her outfit? We're moving into this sense where you're going to literally, and again, I've seen prototypes of these, you're going to literally be able to do, a body scan like this with your iPad front and back in 30 seconds and have an exact avatar of your exact measurements. So how do you combine, so when you're looking at the denim, when you're looking at the clothes, how do those actually drape on your body, and how does that data then travel with you? And so then how does that impact you in the beauty scenario as you're trying to fit together? I love this idea of the cross section, right? So it's the beauty and the fashion look together because it's one experience she's going to. So what is that color of makeup? What is that color of hair that kind of coordinates with the colors that she's using in fashion, and how do you start getting synergies? So I think there's a lot of opportunity that we'd love to explore.
Great. And another question from the iPad. What is the most important technology for Rebecca Minkoff in the next 12 months?
You're asking me to give away my secrets. I think on a biggest sense, I'll try and be cryptic to a degree, and this is cross-channel. It's solving for the person that's not present and including them into the conversation. And how do you do that? And that could be in a virtual scenario, it could be in a store scenario. It's how do you enter he or she that isn't there, that needs to be there, and allowing them to feel like they are there. And so I think you're going to see that could be online customer service. It could be in store. And so again, it's this peer-to-peer nature. It's this peership, right? We know now that a female going into a fitting room is taking a photo and she's sharing it with 10 people. And she's not leaving until she gets 3 or 4 yay or nays that create an overwhelming, trend in a certain direction, right? So how do you create that when you're in an online experience and you're looking to buy things? How do you replicate that in an in-store experience? So it's really the person that's not there that's so important to you, right? That's getting to weigh in, that's getting to experience that as you are, and that'll absorb itself into many different technologies.
That's all the time we have for questions. Thank you.